Welcome, wealthy stewards, to our very first seminar. And with no further ado, let's get directly into this. Be fruitful is the subject and matter we're going to discuss. It's a spiritual law. See, everything produces after its own kind is a spiritual law. And God blessed them, Adam and Eve, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Genesis 1:28. So it's a spiritual law that God said and commanded to be fruitful. See, a seed produces on the outside what is on the inside. So only way for something to be fruitful is that whatever's in the inside has to produce on the outside. See, what you believe about yourself on the inside is going to manifest on the outside. So that's the topic that we're going to dive deeply into. Now, beliefs are essential to the way you see yourself. And beliefs are models. They are not the actual real thing. They're not reality. And we use beliefs to navigate this difficult, complicated world that we live in. So it's much like a map, but it's not the actual earth. So the implication is that beliefs are not automatically true. See, they could be in line with the reality, or they could be far from reality. See, it's like using a map. Using the wrong map will get you lost. And that's a lot of what beliefs can potentially and do for a lot of people. It do for all of us, actually. So we're going to examine beliefs. Now, beliefs are also constructed. They are not simply just created. They're constructed, which means that they're formed. And we're going to look at how they're formed. So it starts off with your personal subjective experiences, your education, your expertise, your experiences, everything that you have ever seen and witnessed in your life, your education, formal and informal, because what people say is a part of your education, because you learn things from other people, especially as a baby. As a baby, you don't know nothing, and babies do a lot of social learning to pick up on how to speak a foreign language. And so you start off with your personal subjective experiences, because no one has seen every single thing that you have seen, and no one has experienced every single thing that you have experienced in your life. It's unique to you. But on top of that, the next layer is we form theories based on our experiences, and we use selected facts, and we select facts to help us create these theories. And we make decisions to produce a favorable outcome. And so we create decisions. And those decisions turn into beliefs. And those beliefs cause our behavior. So this is the structure that everything in your life is based upon your personal subjective experiences. And you build on top of that, you build theories and judgments and beliefs. Now, beliefs are tools for thinking. They're essential. So you can't survive and navigate this life without having beliefs. Everybody has beliefs. So we have to consider that the purpose of them is to help address a need. See, you have a need, then you look for a belief that provides a rule of action to get the desired result you want. So what I'm saying is that you don't believe things because they're true. We believe things because we want to. Now, the problem with beliefs is that they create blind spots. See, they're artificial restraints that blind us to valid possibilities, because beliefs, they defend themselves with something called self-sealing logic, which means, here's a great example. There was a cult, and they believed that aliens were going to save them from, aliens were going to save them from the earth, because the earth was just terrible. And so at midnight, they had an actual day, and they said at midnight they're going to come. And they will pray and stuff like this. And at midnight, no one came. So they kept praying. At 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, the leaders got really discouraged and stuff like this. But they said, oh, I know it's going to happen. Then they received a message. The leader received a message, and they said that because we've been praying so fervently that the catastrophe that was going to happen has now been done away with. And we saved the world. And they were so excited. So beliefs have a way of creating other beliefs that reinforce those initial beliefs. Lies do the same thing, where lies create other lies to reinforce or to support the initial lies. Now, I'm not saying all beliefs are lies, but I'm saying that there's similarities between how these things are formed and structured. Now, when you have a belief that doesn't work and that is not in line with reality, changing them is not always easy. See, there are surface level beliefs that's like, I believe it's going to snow or I believe it's going to rain, and you're loosely connected to you. So if you're wrong, it's not a big deal. It's just move on. And you can let go and change certain beliefs where you say, oh, well, this other person just told me that the weatherman said that it's going to be sunny all day. That's great. So you just say, okay, well, I believe it. But then there are governing beliefs. And with governing beliefs, they're connected to your identity and how you see yourself. And these types of beliefs are not as easily to change. See, if we desire to be fruitful like God commanded, then we must examine our governing beliefs. And in addition to that, we have to change them if necessary so that we won't limit our potential. And potential is the difference between where you are now and where you want to be. And if there is something blocking you from reaching potential that you desire, then you have to examine those governing beliefs that may be a glass ceiling that is capping you where you can be. Now, Christ is the model. And as a Christian, our identity begins and ends with Him. So what we believe about ourselves is going to manifest on the outside. So what we believe about Jesus is going to have a direct effect on what is on the inside of us and bringing that out on the outside of us. So my personal experiences, growing up, I was poor. We had to when we go to the grocery store, we had a buggy that we actually put our groceries in, and we walked from the grocery store all the way home with the buggy. We didn't have much. We didn't have a car. And my parents divorced when I was 3 years old, and my father died when I was 7. And I wasn't raised in the church. See, my mom was a single parent, and in the summer times, we occasionally would go to church because we'd go to vacation Bible school. And I did learn a few things. But one of the things that I did learn when we would occasionally go to church is when my father died, that I had a heavenly Father. And so for me, my relationship with Jesus is very personal, and it wasn't necessarily influenced a whole lot by the actual church in the beginning. So I knew that God was always with me, and my relationship evolved as God being my Father first. And I didn't want to struggle the rest of my life because I seen how my mom struggled to provide for us. She worked hard and did the best she could. And that allowed me to have the opportunities that I did have, which I'm very grateful. But let's talk about some theories and judgments that I formed. See, for me, business and entrepreneurship was a noble way to serve others. I didn't see it as a corporate exec trying to be super greedy. That's not the experience that I developed from my experiences. It's not what I've seen. I also knew that it was a means to escape poverty. Because for me, there wasn't a lot of mobility to escape out of this situation. And I also seen entrepreneurship and business as a way to fully express my own creativity that God blessed me with versus illegal activities. See, there was also the opportunity to sell drugs. There was also the opportunity for me to steal from my neighbors because I coveted what they had. I didn't have super nice things. I wasn't from the middle class, and I wasn't rich either. And I also could have joined a gang. But for me, those ways weren't noble. But as I began to get exposed to other Christians and became more exposed to the church, I realized that there was a disconnect between Jesus of the Bible and who people say he is. See, the most important question that Jesus had is Jesus asked his disciples, he said, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, some say John the Baptist, others says Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" See, this goes back to beliefs. Who do you believe I am? And for me, the disconnect between Jesus and who people say he is was very different. See, I had a desire, as Christians we all do, should have a desire to be like Jesus. So the ramification is, if he was poor, so shall we be. If his purpose was only spiritual, so shall ours be. So as I began to grow and learn and research, I discovered that the view of wealth in the Jewish tradition is very different than American Christianity, which is weird because Christians come from a Jewish background from the Old Testament and into the New Testament. It's a part of our culture, it's a part of our history, and it's a part of our understanding of biblical principles. So this created a double mind. See, in James he says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith without doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is double-minded, man, unstable in all, not some, but all of his ways." In Christianity, there's a double-mindedness that exists. See, our conscious mind is what we say, and our subconscious mind is what we do because of our beliefs causing our behavior. And when those are out of alignment, we are double-minded. But we're single-minded when our subconscious mind and our conscious mind is in alignment. And when we're single-minded, according to what James said, that we can ask for wisdom and we will receive it from God. And it also means that we will be 100% authentic between what we say and what we do, which means what's in the inside of us will match what we think should be on the outside of us. See, Jesus said, "I am the door, and if anyone enters by me, he will be saved, and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief does not come except to steal, kill, and destroy." So the only time the thief will come is to steal, kill, and destroy. If there's nothing to steal, nothing to kill, and nothing to destroy, you won't see him. But Jesus said that I come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. That's John 10:9-10. So in the next video, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about what the Bible has to say about wealth and money. And I'm going to present evidence that Jesus was not poor. No, Jesus was a wealthy steward. And I'm going to show you why and how. In this way, it will help you resolve the inner conflict so that you may begin to be fruitful.